Live from downtown Vancouver at the Vancouver Film School campus, it's time for EP Live. Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and you are watching the show that brings you the latest in everything cool. Thank you so much for joining us live in our venue here at 390 West Hastings. Good to see you guys. And also all of you watching us on YouTube. It's fantastic to have you. We're going to have a very fun show. I know I've been away from EP Live for a bit. We've been doing a lot of traveling. This is the crazy lead up to E3 time. I got some early looks at some games that are going to be shown off or announced or unveiled at E3. So I've got a lot of embargo information that I've got to keep compartmentalized in this brain while Johnny Millennium and I talk about the games that we are psyched for at E3 2019. It is the 25th E3 and the 25th E3 that I've been going to, or I'm about to go to, which freaks me the hell out, I have to be honest. I've been to a lot of E3s, but it's always a very, very fun show. All right, we have a rundown to get to, and today that is dedicated to our good friend, The Last Disciple, who on my video yesterday said, anybody else getting weird video suggestions next to this video? It's all toddler stuff. Somehow our rundown yesterday queued up a bunch of toddler videos on the side of our news for whatever reason. We checked it out at our house too, and it's true, and my kid wanted to watch all of those little baby videos, which is a little bit weird. I don't know why that was. All right, let's get started with your rundown. It doesn't sound like we'll be getting to see what happens after the end of Game of Thrones. With several spin-off shows currently in development, it turns out that none of them are sequels. That's according to HBO's programming chief, Casey Bloys, who tells Deadline that they want the existing story and characters to remain their own thing, so they have no plan to pick up with any of them in a sequel, at least not right now. That could change down the road, of course, but for now they're looking for spin-offs that will explore other areas and time periods in George R.R. Martin's vast world. The first spin-off is a prequel set thousands of years earlier, and that's going to debut next year. I think that this is probably the right approach if, HBO is looking to kind of extend this franchise and the universe of Game of Thrones and give us Westeros through the ages. That's just, it's such a huge franchise for the network and for AT&T, I think, is the parent company that owns HBO. It's made so much money and has had so many eyeballs on it. It only makes sense, like Star Wars, to kind of expand in a bunch of different directions, because then the spin-offs can keep coming aplenty, But I also do think that, a little tiny spoiler here, enough threads were left with the finale to make us think, hey, wait a second, they're going to come back to some of these characters, aren't they? Sort of teasing adventures and possibilities, and lots of doors are left open. I even read one where a prediction or some speculation that one of the characters that died might come back to life again because she was carried off and taken to a faraway land, and maybe some kind of regeneration thing might come back again. I would expect that these characters and the actors associated with these characters, they're just all so famous and so popular that it just doesn't make sense for them to just kind of be dust in the wind like the superheroes in Infinity War. I think they'll be back. Hollywood has set its sights on another big video game franchise, Just Cause. A big screen movie based on the Just Cause video games is on the way. Constantine Film, the same company behind the Resident Evil movies and the upcoming Monster Hunter film, has picked up the rights to the open-world franchise. The screenplay is already in the works with John Wick writer Derek Kolstad, with the story to focus on Special Agent Rico Rodriguez as he explores his way through a villainous island dictatorship, and like the games, expect loads of mayhem. Filming is slated to begin next year. Now, this one doesn't surprise me that much, because Just Cause, when you watch the cut sequences and you kind of dig into the story a little bit, the nonsensical story, which, always devolves into just lots of things blowing up, which is fun. The Just Cause games can be ridiculous amounts of fun, but when you do sort of pay attention to the story for minutes at a time, you do get the sense that somebody's been watching a lot of Robert Rodriguez movies, and it is loaded with cacophony and lots of explosions and cinematic kind of touchstones that would make a good film series if they do it right, if they have a good sense of humor and a self-awareness and kind of poke fun at itself as a video game property. I think the Just Cause movie could be a hell of a lot of fun, so I'm psyched about that. Let's talk about another action picture that's headed our way. James Bond isn't going to let any ankle injury slow him down in his next movie. The producers behind the next 007 movie have confirmed that the film will not be delayed as a result of Daniel Craig's recent injury. Craig suffered an ankle injury last week while shooting an action scene, forcing him to get surgery and causing a pause in production. But the producers say production has now resumed with the other actors while Craig recovers from the surgery. The scheduling adjustment will allow the film to be finished in time for its planned April 2020 release, so audiences won't have to wait any extra time. No word yet on the film's title. It's kind of crazy. It's almost like this movie's... I don't want to throw out the word cursed, but it feels like it might be cursed. I mean, they had to fire the director, Danny, what was his name? Danny Boyle. Yeah, they fired Danny Boyle, which was tragic. I was looking forward to a James Bond movie directed by Danny Boyle. And, of course, infamously, Daniel Craig sort of complained at the end of Spectre that he didn't ever want to go back to James Bond. He wanted to rather slice his wrists than play the character again. So it feels like... this has been one of those movies where it's like, they're willing it into existence. And it also, I think, kind of, Blake brought it up in the script notes here, that it kind of makes us a little bit nervous of these action actors like Tom Cruise, who hurt himself on The Last Mission Impossible, and, of course, Harrison Ford was almost killed on The Force Awakens. We get a bit nervous. And honestly, we're going to talk about John Wick 3, Johnny and I, a little bit later in the show. I was a bit nervous for Keanu in some of those sequences too. These guys, you get older and some of the reflexes and some of the stuff slows down a little bit. It happens to the best of us, and you just don't want anybody to get seriously hurt. But hopefully Daniel Craig pulls it together and gives us an awesome send-off to his performance of James Bond. He's been great in the role. The movies have been sort of all over the place, but I am hopeful that this will be as good as Casino Royale, which is still my favorite James Bond movie. So hopefully it's great. Now, one of Nintendo's biggest franchises has begun racing to mobile. The new game Mario Kart Tour has started rolling out on Android devices in Japan, with other territories getting it soon. It's basically a simplified version of the recent console games, with the cars automatically accelerating and players able to steer by tilting their phones. It's free to play, so there will be microtransactions, although how they'll work and what you'll be able to buy won't be revealed until after the beta. Mario Kart is just the latest Nintendo franchise to make the jump to mobile, and other big properties like Zelda and Dr. Mario will be following up soon. I just took a couple of seconds look at the visuals for the game. I looked at the mobile game. It actually looks pretty fun. I expect that it will make Nintendo cajillions of dollars because we all love Mario Kart. It is kind of lame that it's auto-accelerating, though. I hope they switch that up. Maybe they will. I mean, I think if enough people love it and freak out about it and complain to Nintendo about it and download it, things might get adapted a little bit, which could be cool. So looking forward to playing Mario Kart Tour on my iPhone when they release that. I still love the original Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, and I still love Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch. Incredible franchise. It's going to do well on mobile. That's my very safe prediction for you.